Number 1, civil target is flight 4, Bravo, 65, 20 low. Overway.
Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome, and hello there. How are you there, ma'am?
I'm doing great. So nice to see your bright and smiling face and glowing aura and just your happy energy there. So I'm sure everybody's going to be thrilled you're back with us. And you want to share a few words or say hi? I'm happy to give you the floor for a minute or two because I'm sure everybody's missing you. So say hi.
Hey, they have saw me this morning at 8 o'clock this morning, so it's all good.
God bless you getting up that early. I think it's a good.
Right.
Did you have a nice Easter?
Yes, it was. It was fantastic. So, and every day it's getting better, and it's God willing, and God is good.
Yep.
So,
God is good. That is for sure. So I was actually in Kentucky for Easter. It was the last day of my 17-day road trip, and I was with my Aunt Tina. Don't call her Tina. Tina and Uncle Larry. And we went to a praise service at their church. And she was raised Lutheran, and I believe this was a Lutheran church, but I can't swear to it. I honestly don't remember. But this is the first time I've ever been to a church service where 90% of it was singing. And they were like, all the parts of it just singing and praising, and they would read part of the Bible, and then the pastor would speak for a few minutes. But it was rocking the house, man. It was like, woo, the spirit was strong. I was like, this is a way to celebrate Easter. And for me, it was a beautiful way to give gratitude and thanks for a safe journey of the trip. I drove nearly 3,000 miles during the 17 days, and I had all kinds of wonderful, magical, mystical moments along the way. It was just so profound for me. And I was so grateful. And I think, I mentioned to you guys when we started the show, or right before we started, I feel just this sense of love and gratitude that's just beaming out. Like wherever you're watching this from, feel me, just feel it. Like, I love you. I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful for the blessings in our lives. I'm grateful for the opportunities that present itself. And who knows, maybe I just got the spring fever because after Wisconsin winter can get you in the doldrums, and it's like, woo, it's spring, baby. The daffodils are coming up.
Right.
Hyacinths are blooming and the trees have buds. It's like, just that wonderful feeling of renewal and energy and rebirth. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think today what I'd love to talk about is the whole idea of spring cleaning, but let's take a twist on it and think about spiritual spring cleaning. And what do we need to do to declutter all of the aspects in our life in order to fully have balance, whether it's to get it for the first time or to restore it if it hasn't been there. And then once we have that balance, now we are able to increase our power, our personal power, our spiritual power, and be more effective in manifesting the things in our life. So today is going to be a little bit of teaching some topics But of course, I always have to start with energy. You know me. I love to channel stuff from spirit. So I did get some messages for the day. So I'm going to start with those. But then a special treat, I actually channeled for the first time since my book came out. I got this stream of consciousness when I was sitting at the beach down in Myrtle Beach, one of the stops on my journey. And this really profound and beautifully soul-touching message came through. And when I shared it with a friend, she's like, oh, girl, you have to share this with other people because it'll resonate. I believe it resonates whoever it touches, because it wasn't me making it up. It was just me writing it down, right? That's the nature of channeling. Spirit kind of prompts you. And I tease and call it, taking spiritual dictation. It's like, yep, got it, next. And then I read it after and I'm like, whoa, this is kind of cool. And what's nice is when somebody else hears it or reads it, they respond that same way. So I don't have to worry about my ego getting in the way because it wasn't me that wrote it. I just wrote it down, so that I'm going to share that. And then we'll get into the nitty gritty of the 5 aspects of our life that we need to have balance in order to have that spiritual spring cleaning. And the areas we will touch on, so a little coming attraction here, we're going to touch on your finances, your health, your relationships, spirituality in the context of expressing your soul purpose and being part of something greater than self, and then time, the balance of work, rest, and play. So we're going to go through all of those. But the first thing I did, of course, as usual, and for those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. Actually, I probably should have started with, hey, I'm Alethea, and welcome to Spiritual Street Talk with Alethea Jacob. So the purpose of this show, guys, is to answer questions that you have. So feel free to put questions in the chat, to talk about topics of the day, and to share some spiritual, good mojo energy, good insights, whatever spirit messages want to come through to uplift, give comfort, give guidance. It's a dynamic show, right? So although we have a theme that we're going to cover each week, and that's going to change each week, but we kind of know what we're going to talk about, it's also dynamic enough that depending on what you all need to hear, what comes up in the chat, what questions you have, I'm going to adapt to that. And one of the first things I always do is I pray and I ask for spirit to give us a message. And whether you're listening to this live right now or watching it live or tuning in a day or two from now or a week or two from now or even next year, what these messages should do is resonate somewhere in your heart. They should feel good. They should make sense. They should ring true and hopefully give you some comfort, guidance, direction from that and that feeling of connectedness to spirit. So the first card that we got today is purpose. And the angel card of purpose reminds us that every situation or every person is placed on your path with a purpose. There are no coincidences out there, guys, right? We know that. It may be to strengthen you, to offer you an opportunity to resolve or forgive the past, help you release old patterns, or for enjoyment or empowerment. So this is an important card to think about, purpose. What is our life purpose? And are we expressing that? Are we feeling that joy? Are we feeling that creativity? Are we feeling that accomplishment? Or have we not even thought about what is my soul purpose? For a long time, and for many people, we're all struggling just to figure out, who am I? How do I get through my day? How do I earn a living? How do I take care of my family and myself? And so there's not a lot of that deep thought necessarily about who am I anyway, right? As the old song from Chorus Line goes, who am I anyway? I'm not my resume, right? No, we are a lot more than our physical bodies. We are spirits who have come here, and we have a reason that we're here. And I'm sure at some level, you're like, there's got to be more to life than just the day-to-day grind, right? Well, this show and thinking about some of the things we'll bring up will hopefully bring you to that sense of knowing even more who you are, what's possible, and who you are becoming, but you just aren't that person yet. Okay, the next card I like a lot. It's Cupid. Love is in the air, guys. It's springtime. We're feeling that connection. And then this card is from the angels, and they're saying, we send great waves of love into your heart, into your mind, awakening your love for life itself. Your clear decision to accept and enjoy romance has triggered this reawakening. Allow yourself to spontaneously celebrate love in all of its glorious aspects. Now, the first time I turned over that card, I'm thinking, well, I don't have anybody right now. You know, I got divorced a few years ago. Oh my God, it's going to be 2 years in May. How time goes flying by. It's like crazy. But we can express love for ourselves, right? We can be loving. We can start the pattern. It's almost like if you start layering in, I'm going to buy flowers for myself. I'm going to get a massage. I'm going to create this beautiful candlelit dinner for myself. I'm going to listen to beautiful music. I'm going to go out dancing. Doing the things that you would normally do with your honey, if you had a honey, that kind of primes the pump and gets things ready and says, hey, I am worthy of love. And even if that other partner hasn't shown up yet, that's okay. I'm holding that space and I'm not depriving myself. I am blessing myself with as much love as I can bring, right? So Cupid is about that self-love as well as exchanging love with other people. And if you do have a partner, hey, take an extra minute tonight, show a little extra love to them, right? And give them what you know will bring them joy, right? We all know what brings our partners joy, right? It's the little things we say. It's the little things we do. It's those special little touches and notions and notes sometimes even, you know, so do something kind for the person that you love. All right. The next card we got here is receptivity. So this is pay attention to your creative thoughts. Open your psychic senses and receive direction. Listen to the ideas others offer you. It is a time to be approachable and friendly. So, well, now, isn't that interesting? What was the series of cards? First it was purpose, then love, and then receptivity. So be open to understand from your soul what is your purpose and be open to receive love in your life. And if this wasn't enough, I picked 3 tarot cards. And guess what? First one, the Lovers. So it echoes that feeling of having that sense of romance, love relationships. And these can be with family, with friends, just exchanging that sense of love. I just feel when we're in touch with gratitude, when we're in touch with our purpose, we can radiate a love for everybody. It doesn't have to be a specific person, although that's neat if we have that, but we can just send love out. We can send it to all the people we know, all the people we don't know, to the entire planet, to the entire universe. We can become a beacon for love in our lives and in the world. And it's not hard. We just add that intention into our prayers or into our daily routine. I mean, heck, every time you're brushing your teeth, say, okay, as I'm brushing my teeth, I'm sending love out. Every time you're on the toilet, getting rid of some waste from one set and send love out the other. I don't care. You know, pick something that you do regularly and link it to sending love, and it'll change your vibration. It'll change your joyfulness. It'll change how you are. All right. Next card we have here is the Queen of Swords. She's reversed. So this is saying, remember, it's important to have a sense of legacy and purpose in whatever you're doing for your living. Right? Too often we get wrapped up by the titles and we think, I am who I am at work, right? No, you are who you are as a soul, as a being, as a spirit, as a person. What you do is your work, possibly, right? But that's not who you are. And so this is just a reminder to embrace the aspects of who you are. And then the last card I chose is the Magician. And because that's upside down, it's saying, hey, you know, the world does feel a little upside down right now. But you have the ability to manifest. You just have to make up your mind. We just have to make up our minds about what it is that we want to bring into being, what we want to manifest in the world. So those are the cards there. And then, of course, I always ask for a reading from the book. And today it came to the writing called Limitless. You will be beyond limits once they are not even a consideration in your experience of yourself. Free from the impositions of others pressing in upon your soul. Similar to the paradox where you cannot be aware of having no thought while you are having no thought, you cannot be limitless while you accept and are aware of limitations. It is only in hindsight you can notice the state of being where expansion, oneness, nothingness, and everything existed all at the same time. like the atmosphere around you. You are immersed in the moment. The moment does not exist in your awareness. It is not that you take it for granted. It simply would not be useful. Trying to understand it while it is happening would actually impede or prevent what is possible. And I love that last line in particular, because that's the same truth that applies to getting psychic impressions, using your spiritual gifts. If we get too much into our head and try to analyze and figure things out, while it's happening, we can actually block the flow of the information that's coming to us. So it's really important that as we get something, we go for it. We just say, okay, here it is. And what I want to share with you next tonight is a channeling. And by channeling, I just mean that I hear promptings from spirit. I get my paper and my pen and I write down what I hear. People do channeling in all kinds of different ways, but for me, I feel like in some way it's like spiritual dictation taking, right? It's like, okay, I got it, next. And almost as fast as I can write it down, the thoughts and the words are flowing into my mind. And that's how I wrote the book that I read from a minute ago, The Portal to Potential. That's filled with that kind of stuff, as well as a bunch of questions on how to become the fullest and best expression of yourself possible. What questions should you be asking? What thoughts should you be thinking? What are realizations to have as you're going through? And those were all given by spirit and written down. But since I published that book last year, I really hadn't made time to sit and just quiet my mind and say, okay, what you got? And write whatever spirit wanted me to say. And so while I was at the beach at Myrtle Beach, this beautiful information just started to flow in. And so I want to share that with you now. And one of the things I also want to point out is that whenever you are listening to or reading anything that's channeled, you have the opportunity to kind of backtrace through the channel to the source and get what you need. It's kind of like once you have a radio that's tuned into radio stations, you get to choose the channel you want, right? You can go wherever you want, depending on what style you'd like to listen to or what music really is of interest. It's the same thing when listening to music or looking at a beautiful painting. If the artist has channeled that information and was in this state of connecting with this source when they created the artwork, when they created the music, when you're engaging with it, you can also feel that presence. You can go back, you can enter it almost like a portal to bring you to that source and get what you need out of it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be creative spiritual writing. It can be something that is very practical. You might be, I need advice on how to help this relationship, or I need to know what's the next best idea or project to have at work, or what's a patent or idea that I can use to invent something, or right? There's no limit to it. So let me read what came. So like the ocean wave crashing upon the shore and slowly spreading across the sand, your impact in the world will be similar. Expected, but somewhat surprising, all at the same time. A sudden surge followed by a gentle spreading, touching the lives of many by the simple, steady truth you resonate and teach. Of course, there will be stormy days and calm days, sunny days where the brilliance is almost mesmerizing. Allow the tsunami of your soul to wash over you first, to clear away anything you no longer need, anything which no longer serves you, and the path that you are on, and the purpose, your soul, that you are fulfilling. I am so proud of you and the steadfast trust and willingness you have displayed through the dark times and challenges which might have derailed another. You can be and are exceptional and ordinary at the same time, shining one or the other depending on what is called for in the moment. As you go forward, continue to allow. There is wisdom in the unfolding which only becomes apparent in hindsight. Continue to trust. Continue to glow and shine your light. Speak your truth with loving kindness and power. Allow peace to pervade your energy and your soul, especially when the world and others around you are caught up in the frenzy and the fear of a world they do not understand, and times which feel chaotic and dangerous to their survival and ability to thrive and care for those that they love. Remember, all is well with your soul. There can be no other way of being than what you are at your core. At the greatest depth of the ocean, there is a stillness, a darkness, yet there is life and wonder beyond your ability to imagine that you can access and experience if you have the courage to explore and the intention to serve. The tide cycles and rhythms of the waves speak to your soul. Although on the surface they are affected by the wind and the phases of the moon, the currents run deep and the patterns carve out canyons in the sand. There is still much for you to discover and uncover about yourself and what is possible in the world. Continue to trust. Take joy in being of service and the positive impact you are having on the lives of others. This is your legacy, that you cared and you did what you could with love and with gratitude. And then it came into a little bit of other writing. It's like, why me? Why now? Do you hear me? Are you there? Does anybody care? The questions of our soul call out to the heavens when we face the demons that haunt us. Why is this so hard? What did I do wrong? These are incorrect assumptions and foolish questions we ponder. Why do you think you did something wrong when challenges or trials appear in your life? What if you thought of them as blessings or opportunities instead? How different would your experience be? What gems would you glean and find in the pile of rocks you are dealing with moving out of your way? What insights will you gain as you are brought to your knees and humbled this time? How will your life be different and better because you got through? What unexpected help arrived just in time to bless you? What resiliency or resourcefulness did you dig deep to find? You are stronger than you think. You are more powerful than you know. Steel, tempered in fire, is the strongest and the most valued. Shine your light brightly. Share your love liberally. And know you will not only survive, but you will thrive with love and with gratitude. All right. So that's what came through at the beach, folks. And it really touched my heart. And as I said, I feel like I've just been in this expanded state of gratitude and love and focusing on purpose ever since then. And when I got home, it was like, okay, time for that spring cleaning. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that. Hey, Grizz, are you still there? If you are, if you want to pop on back.
Yes, ma'am. Right here.
All right. Do you have any thoughts on the channel stuff that came through? Were you able to kind of feel the vibe of it? And
no, I'm enjoying it. Everybody's enjoying it. This is great.
Okay, cool beans. All right, thanks. I just wanted to double check, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
And guys, I'm not seeing a lot of chats tonight. Feel free to send some chats in there, guys. And remember to hit the subscribe and like and hit all those bells.
That's
and
right.
bangs
Don't
and
be
whistles.
bashful, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be bashful.
Let us know you're here. If you have questions, you know, something you want me to focus on, please do bring it up. But all right, so here's the spiritual spring cleaning, right? All right, so the first aspect I want to go into is really the most worldly, right? That's the finances. So what do finances involve? Finances involve, well, how do we make our living, right? Of course, but it's the flow of money and things in our life. So if we have a bunch of debt, that can weigh heavy on us. So one of the priorities that we need to do is think about, how do we clear out that debt? We also have to focus on what are our expenses right now. And for anybody struggling with this, I strongly recommend putting together a budget and just know where your money's going. Especially in this day and age when you can just tap with your card or tap with your phone, versus peeling out those bills. It can be a challenge to stay aware of how much am I spending anyway, right? For a while there, I just switched over and said, I'm just going to use cash for a while, just so I can get it all under control. I know exactly what I'm spending. I can actually see it going. It's like, bye-bye $50 bill, bye-bye $100 bill, bye-bye $20 bill, right? I have to think it through a little bit. It's not just this digital, hold up my phone, beep, beep, it's done, right? And then later on, I get the credit card bill and go, what did I do? What was I thinking? Did I really need that? I don't know. I didn't think about it at the time. I just beeped, right? So you want to really be aware of what you're spending in the moment. And you also want to be planning for your future. Now, I know a lot of people are like, hey, I just want to live for the moment. And that's, that's fine. There's a wisdom in that in some regards. However, I do want to also plant a few seeds for you. Some future considerations that you might want to think about are, do you have money in an emergency fund? So let's just say, let's just do a hypothetical. Let's say you have a paycheck of $1,000 and you're going to be like, okay, here's my paycheck. So I'm going to pay 100 or 200 towards debt. I need minimum 500 for my expenses this month. Okay, so that leaves me $300. So I can either go have fun with that $300, or I can say, you know what? I'm going to take some of that. Maybe I'll take 100 and go have fun with it. But 200, I'm going to put 100 in a emergency fund, and I'm going to put 100 in some other, maybe a retirement fund or a rainy day fund or a Christmas fund or whatever, some other thing. So as time goes on, you are paying down your debt. You're taking care of your current stuff. You still have fun money to play with now. And you're also putting away money in case there's an emergency. Well, what's an emergency? Well, you blow a tire out and you have to replace all 4 tires on your car, or the refrigerator goes, or the washer dryer goes, or you get laid off unexpectedly. I think most of the financial advisors tell us we should have between 6 months and a year's worth of our monthly salary stocked away, just in case we get laid off. Now, I know if you're one of the people that I was for a long time, where you barely had enough money to pay your bills and your debt at the end of the day, thinking like, oh yeah, now I got to save how much? How's that going to happen? Well, I got a second job. I started doing freelance stuff. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to keep living on the edge. And this is where it's a personal decision for each of us all to make. It's like, how hard do I want to work to have the peace of mind to also have that financial security where my debt's covered, my daily expenses are there, I have money to play and do joyful things, and I also have an emergency fund, and I'm starting to sock away a little bit money towards my retirement, because I don't want to be turning 60 or 70 years old and realize, oh shit, I forgot to start saving for it, and now I have to keep working until the day I die, because I never had enough money that I put away, right? So it's all about balance. So one of the things I did to get in balance was I started doing entrepreneurial pursuits. I started making crafts and selling them. I made homemade chocolates and sold them at different kind of church fairs. I started doing freelance transcriptions for people, because I'm not as fast anymore, but I was a pretty good person at listening and typing things up. And so I would do transcribing. But I was like, no, you know what? If my day job wasn't doing it, I need to do a little extra. And sometimes I did it in the evening. Sometimes I did it on weekends. Sometimes I only did it once a month. But any money that I made from that went into my joy fund, which was sort of like, hey, I want to go have a massage. I don't have to worry. Do I have enough money? I just check my joy fund envelope. Yep, I do. Great. I can go get that massage. I can buy that new purse. I can go out and have dinner with friends or go to the movies and actually afford popcorn and a soda. I can't believe I went to the movies the other day with friends. I'm like, holy mackerel. The movie was cheap compared to how much the food at the concessions were. Like, when did they raise the prices to the roof? It's just, anyway, that kind of got me. So anyway, for finance. So again, when you're thinking about financial balance, it's very personal, but it's also something where you want to make sure you're asking yourself the question and looking at everything very knowledgeably. Have that budget, know where your money's going. How much are you spending each month on your utilities, on your phone, on your clothing, on eating out, on your Starbucks, on whatever things you like to do, right? If you have hobbies, how much are you spending each month on each of these different things, on your car maintenance, on your rent? Like, you know what your bills are, right? Well, make a list and see, like, on average, this is what I've been spending. And so now okay, this is what I need more or less. And if you live in an area like in the wintertime, your heating bills go up, and in the summertime, your AC bills go up. It's like, all right, spring and fall, not so big on the electricity. Oh, I better have a little extra when it comes to the winter or for the summer. So it's just being practical, right? Don't put your head in the sand, like, figure this stuff out. And if you do have credit card debt, it's like, or any other kind of student loans or any kind of loans or debt, you want to figure out, all right, how can I start paying this off regularly so that I'm not just paying the interest? Because if all you're paying is the interest, those loans never go away. They just keep going and going and going, right? So you want to figure out, what do I need to do to get a little extra money coming in so I can get rid of that debt and have that peace of mind, right? And then again, planning for your future. If you work for a company that has an IRA or a 401k kind of matching program, you want to take advantage of that. That's free money. When I worked for the Fortune 500 company years ago, they would match up to 3% of whatever, up to 3% of my salary. If I put up that away each month, they would match that. And so that was kind of cool. It was like free extra money from them, and it helped my retirement money grow that much more quickly. And in a way, it's an emergency savings fund, because even though you take penalties if you take it out before you're 59 and a half, if you really have a disaster and you need that money, okay, so you take the hit, right? You take the 10% hit of the penalty, and then it's just considered taxable income added to your whatever else is that you brought in that year. So finances, for most people, if you talk to couples, one of the biggest areas that they have troubles is, and I'm a life coach and I worked with a lot of couples, it revolves around finances. Somebody is much more diligent or on top of things and aware of what's being spent, and the other partner is just kind of going with the flow, right? Or just not even thinking about it. They're very impulsive. And again, nothing wrong with impulsive if you have enough to cover that, right? So just being aware of what you have can really give you that peace of mind and help you with balance. So that's the financial one. So then we have the areas of health. And health can encompass a bunch of subtopics as well, right? It's, are you getting proper sleep? Are you getting proper nutrition, proper exercise? Are you at a weight that you want? Does your body hurt? Are you strong? There's a difference between being thin and being strong, right? So I know some people that, were very thin, but they could barely, lift weight, right? Or pick up their suitcase or whatever if they're traveling. Because, all right, you might be healthy that way, that you're thin, but you want to build up some physical strength as well. You want to have mental strength, right? So many people today are like, oh, my memory's off, or I'm not thinking. Well, there's things you can do. There's supplements you can take that can help, but there's also brain games that you can do to help sharpen the tool. And you also want to stop doing things that interfere with your health. All right, what are things that interfere with our health? Well, bad habits, right? It can be substances that we know hurt our body. It can be staying up late and not sleeping in an environment where we can get the good sleep. So make sure that the noise is minimal. Make sure that it's as dark as possible, as cool as possible, right? This is what the sleep scientists tell us really help us. Don't be eating too close to when you're going to bed, because digestion can interrupt the sleep cycles. So those kind of things are important to keep in mind. And then are we doing too much screen time? Right? They'll even tell you just want to wind down an hour before bed. So if you're on a device and you're going like, go, 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 and your mind is go, 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 or you're watching something, the light of the devices actually triggers different hormones in our brain, which are counterproductive to sleeping, right? So if you're having a hard time sleeping, put the devices down, turn off the TV, read a book, meditate, play with your kids, play with your dogs, play a game, even because you can even engage your mind, but just not with all of these external things that the light of those that stimulate in a different way. Take nice bubble baths, get massages, treat your body well, right? Moisturize, right? In the wintertime, I don't know how it is where you all live in, but ever since I moved to Wisconsin in the winter, I need to put extra hand cream on because literally my fingers start to crack on those really cold days. It gets to the below zero here for a few weeks. And during those times, I'm like, I got to make sure I'm extra moisturizing. So even like dry skin stuff. And you're like, well, does it matter? Yeah, it matters. Why? Because anything that's hurting you physically, mentally, emotionally, is going to be upsetting your health in some aspect. And so you want to make smart decisions. And if you're living with a family that or other person, and you have, let's say you decide you're going to go on a diet and you're going, or not, and by diet here, I mean food choice, not necessarily a weight loss type of diet, but you're choosing to eat in a certain way. So let's say you want to eat ketogenic for a while and you don't want to eat carbs. So it's important that everybody, thank you, Amy. It's important that everybody's on the same page here, right? So if you're saying, I don't want to have a lot of processed sugars and carbs in the house, and your partner is bringing in Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts every day and it's sitting there on the counter, that's not helping, right? So you want to make sure everybody's on the same page. And you're like, look, you can have that stuff if you want it, but please just don't bring it in the home because I don't want it to tempt me. I don't want it to distract me, or it's too hard if it's right there in front of me, right? So just having those conversations with people that you live or work with can also be helpful when you're focusing on a certain aspect of your health. All right. Next thing is relationships. And you know what? This spans everything from your love relationships, your family relationships, and also your work relationships. There should be a balance, a give and take in every relationship that you're in. If you're finding any relationship that you're in is totally one-sided, that you are give, you need to kind of step back and say, why am I in this relationship? If you're in a relationship and it's take, you want to step back and say, well, why am I not giving? Why am I not reciprocating? What about this relationship? Why do I think it's okay to just be a taker here? And maybe that's part of the reason things aren't flowing so well in that relationship, right? So you want to take a look at that. You want to be aware of what are, like in family and friend relationships and in romantic relationships, what are the love languages that people speak or resonate to or respond to, right? Some people are very visual. And if you give them a little card or a little note or flowers or something, right? It's a visual reminder that you care. That's cool. Some other people, their love language is food. It's like invite them out for a meal, make them a home cooked meal, bring them a home baked good, right? They're all over the moon about that. You know what people like, and make sure you express what you like or need. So if you are in a relationship and you're feeling like your needs are not being met, you're not feeling like you're getting things out of it, a lot of times it's because we're not vocalizing, we're not expressing, we're not sharing. Hey, if we did this, and this, it would make me a lot happier. Let me give you a really simple example of something I changed that made all the difference. I'm somebody that is pretty easygoing, and I like to make sure the people around me are happy. right? So when I had a group of friends that were like, hey, do you all want to go out to lunch or you want to go out to dinner? And they would ask me, hey, where do you want to go? Oh, any place you want to go is fine. That's not totally true for me, because there's certain foods I'm allergic to. And if they pick a restaurant that specializes in that kind of food, I'm going to be an unhappy camper, right? So, but I kept my mouth shut for a long time. And I wound up in restaurants over the years that I'm like, oh man, I'm having to really search through the menu for something I can eat safely. So what I started doing is saying, hey, instead of just saying, hey, do you all want to go out to lunch or dinner? I thought to myself, where would I like to go? And I would say, hey, would you guys like to go out to the new Asian buffet? Or would you like to go to a Japanese restaurant? Or would you like to go to that new Italian place? Or do you want to go grab a burger at the American Grill down the road? I made the decision for myself first. What would I like? And then I shared that with them. Now, if they came back and said, hey, I don't like Asian food, I had a backup. But I wasn't stuck with them all coming to a consensus and me just kind of, okay, well, that's what everybody wants. Oh, well, that's okay. That's not taking care of our souls, of our bodies, of our balance. It's throwing us out of balance because we are telling ourselves by that kind of action, I don't matter. I'm not as important as them. That's not true. You are as important as them. And for goodness sakes, you should be more important to yourself than other people are to you, right? Because we are all that we have that we can control. We are the soul that came down with a mission, with a purpose. So in relationships, there has to be that kind of give and take. There has to be a balance. And even at work, okay, the balance might be, your boss tells you what to do, you do that, and then you get paid. Okay, that's the balance. That's the give and take, right? But for colleagues, hey, would you mind doing this for me? Hey, would you mind doing that for me? You know what? Maybe, yes, I'll help you out once in a while, but I'll also ask you once in a while for some help and make sure there's reciprocity. If you're the only person who's making the phone call to talk to a friend, that they never call you, but you're the one who initiates the call, and you're the one who always sends out the birthday cards and the Christmas cards and the greetings, and you're the one that's always initiating the contact, and they're not, I would strongly suggest you stop doing the outreach and see if they care enough to reach back out to you. Because if it's so one-sided that you're doing all the reaching out, maybe that's a relationship you should let go of to make room for another one that will be more balanced, that will be more two-way in your life. So think about relationships as well as finances and health, because those are important. All right, next area to go through is spirituality. What does spirituality mean? We've had whole episodes on this. Just for simplicity purposes, for the balance in spirituality, I want you to focus on what is your soul purpose, your soul's purpose. What is the legacy you're trying to create in your lifetime? What did you come into body to do, right? What pieces of the puzzle are you looking for? What problems or experiences, the problems you're solving or experiences you want to have or opportunities you want to explore, right? What are those things? But also, what is the creativity and the expression of your soul that wants to be shared with the world? What are your gifts that spirit wants you to share? What is the light that you should be shining and sharing with everybody you meet, right? Are you doing those things? Are you making time for creativity? Are you making time for meditation? Are you making time for prayer, which is the asking, and meditation, which is the listening, right? For the give and take, even with spirit. Are you having, it's all the things that you want to do for fun on the back burner? Or are you having a little bit of that, hey, this is creative process where I'm in touch with something and I'm creating something beautiful and I'm sharing it with the world. Sometimes spirituality can be something simple as playing with your children, as playing with your cats or dogs, going for a walk in nature, being in nature, being aware that you are part of something greater than self, that you are a piece of something magnificent in the world. That's what balance in spirituality looks like. If you have a spiritual practice, are you keeping up with that? Whatever that is. For some people, it's going to church or temple or to the mosque. Some people pray a certain number of times a day or week. Some people sing joyful hymns or songs in order to give praise and to connect with spirit. Some people chant. Some people do yoga or martial arts like Tai Chi. And that's how they get centered and in touch with energy. So all of these things are a conscious choice. But when we choose to make sure they're included in our life, it helps us keep in balance. Because if all life is about work, play once in a while, work, play some more, it's like, what are you busting your butt for? What are you working so hard for if there isn't something that's uplifting your soul and helping you contribute in your unique ways, shining your light and sharing your gifts with the world, right? So think about that with the balance here. And then the last aspect I want to talk about is the balance of time, work, rest, and play. And this is huge, especially for us in the Western culture. We are type A workaholics, go, run, do. And it's sort of like, wait a minute. For as much time as you're spending doing, you should be spending time being. And what does that mean? That's where the play comes in, the joy comes in, the sleep and rest and relaxation, tending to your health, tending to your spirituality, tending to your finances, making sure you're checking off all of the boxes of the things you need to do so that you feel balanced and fulfilled and have a richness in the quality of your life. So if you think about a day, we have 24 hours in a day. And most people on average, we shoot to sleep for 8 hours. We work for 8 hours. That leaves us 8 hours. In those 8 hours, that's where we should be focused on our play, our joy, or getting things done in those other areas of health and finances and relationship that bring us joy and balance. I know for a long time, especially when I was back working for that Fortune 500 company, I did not have balance of work, rest, and play. I was type A, balls to the walls, go. I was working overtime. I wanted to build that career and be successful. And I was exhausted most of the time. I wasn't getting enough sleep. I didn't have time to go to the gym or go to the pool or hang out with friends as much as I wanted. It was just go. I was lucky if I had time to cook a proper meal versus grabbing takeout or eating leftovers, right? So, and there's nothing wrong with takeout or leftovers. However, if you're really trying to work on your nutrition and your health, sometimes it's better to actually cook food that, you know what's in it, that works for you and your day. So I know I wasn't probably even giving myself an hour a day of play. Not even an hour. It was just all about work, rest, work till I dropped, rest. Okay, eat a little bit. Okay, maybe, handle a few have to do things like pay bills, mow the lawn, whatever, change my oil, do whatever I had to do. And then it was back to work. There was very little time for play. Now I'm looking at that saying, that balance of work, rest, and play, part of the reason I wasn't feeling joyful, I wasn't feeling like I was fulfilling my purpose. I had no light to shine because I was burnt out. I was a burnt out battery, right? I had to learn how to plug into the wall of the universal outlet and say, what do I need to do to bring joy back into my life and balance back into my life? And I will promise you this. If you take the time to come up with and look at all of the 5 aspects of your life, your finances, your health, your relationships, your spirituality, and time, that balance of work, rest, and play, and you make sure that each of those things is as balanced as possible in your life, and you're paying attention to the places that you're historically bad at, and you're celebrating the places that you're good at, your life will shift in a positive way. You will start to be able to manifest things very quickly. Because of you being in balance, you have extra energy to devote to projecting and focusing on, this is what I would like to manifest in my life for myself, for my family, for my community, for whatever purpose you want to be manifesting things. because that extra energy that you have once you're in balance can fuel the thought and project it out there. And we've talked about metaphysical truths before. Where your thoughts go, energy flows, and what you focus on grows. So if you're overwhelmed and feel like you're in quicksand in one of those 5 areas, it's going to be really hard to manifest that next great thing you want to have happen in your life. But once you put in the work and have that sense of balance, things become this magical dance almost of unfolding of, oh, I need this and it's there. I want this and it shows up. And I'm going to give you a really simple example that recently just happened to me. But I was going someplace. I was going to an auction, and I needed Spirit to find me a good parking space close, and to find me help to get things to my car or from my car to my home if I bought stuff. And because I have an issue that I'm still working on manifesting healing for my knees, and that's coming along beautifully, and I'm getting stronger every day. However, I needed help. And so before I even left the house, I just felt gratitude. And I didn't ask it in a way of, hey, Spirit, by the way, can you please do this, that, or the other thing? Or, hey, angels, can you do this for me? I assume that they know what I need, and I'm giving gratitude and thanks. And I'm like, thank you, angels, for making sure there's a great parking space ready for me. Thank you, angels. Thank you, Spirit, for making sure somebody shows up to help me with the heavy lifting when I need help with heavy lifting. And I will tell you, just that small change from this petitioning, asking, groveling kind of energy of please, please, please help me, with this kind of background expectation of, yeah, but I know you're not really going to, are you? And instead of that kind of asking and praying and manifesting or putting out there to manifest, if it switched it instead to, I'm giving gratitude, knowing that you know what I want and need, you know what's happening. Half the times you're leading me to the places I'm going anyway. So please help me, not just please help me, but thank you for leading me to people who will help me. So even something as simple as when I was traveling, and I told you all before, and I broadcast from Myrtle Beach last 2 weeks ago, I wanted to get an upgraded room that had a view of the ocean in a tower. And this was a big complex, resort complex, in one of the buildings and towers that was closer to the beach. So I didn't have as far to walk. Now, the reservation and what I had was for a different tower that was further away with no view. But I put out there, Spirit, thank you so much for leading me to somebody, and bringing me to the right person who can pull the strings, and they have the power to get me the perfect kind of room, that would make the trip amazing. And I just give thanks. Thank you for that. I thank them ahead of time. I thank when it shows up, and then I thank afterwards. I'm like, so thank you for leading me to that person that I know I'm going to meet that's going to help me. When I meet that person and I get that upgrade, and when I walked into that room and I saw it and I saw that view, I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys rock. You take such great care of me. I am so grateful. I love you. Thank you. And then all during the week as I'm there, it's like, thanks again. You guys rock. This was awesome. Right. And even now I'm telling the story, thanking them for taking care of me. And I'm sharing that with you all. Right. So this attitude of gratitude that, a lot of people think, that's a hippy dippy thing. No, it's not hippy dippy at all, guys. It is the grease. It is the grease that turns the wheels of the universe and brings the blessings and opportunities to you and to other people. And just think of it from a personal level. If you are in a relationship, and let's even take a work context. So if as you're doing your work, your boss comes to you and says, you're doing such a great job. I am so glad you are part of this team. Thank you for all the hard work you're putting in to make us successful. Doesn't that make your day? Doesn't that make you feel great? Doesn't that make you want to do even more? If you're in a partnership or a married, or you have someone you're living with, and you're cooking and making dinner, and they're raving over, oh, thank you so much for making this healthy food, this nutritious food, this delicious food. I know you're tired, and you put that energy in anyway just to make sure that there's this amazing meal for us all to share. Thank you so much, honey. I really love how you pamper me and take care of me and make my favorites. Hello, are you not going to want to bust your butt cooking for that person again and again, or that family? Because they've expressed that gratitude. It is that reciprocation. You put the energy in to make this great meal. They give you back that gratitude and love, which makes you want to do even more, right? It's a universal principle. And I think somehow we've lost sight of that because we get so overwhelmed, or we've convinced ourselves that our prayers aren't answered, or why bother, or I'll be thankful when something just shows up. But that's how it works, right? Gratitude is incredible. Grace, have something you want to add to that?
Oh, it is. It's very incredible when it comes to gratitude. And a lot of people don't think about it. And we need to be humble and humble ourselves, I think.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm so grateful, for the show, for this opportunity to share with you all. I'm grateful that you guys show up from week to week, that you spread the word. I'm grateful for Mary and Grizz that they're out there doing the marketing and producing and running all the behind the scenes stuff so that we can all be out there sharing our unique brands of messages to all y'all that are there. I'm also grateful. I'm going to Sedona next month. I'm going to be co-leading a retreat. And it's all about learning how to become the best you can be. And we call it preparing for ascension. But it's whatever is coming next. We want to be ready, and we want to have all our gifts as sharpened as possible, right? All our tools ready in our tool belt, and our mind and our energy is expanded and open as possible. So this is kind of the last call. If you're hearing this now, the retreat is May 16, 17, 18 in Sedona. You can go to my website. The info is down below there, and go to what's happening soon if you want more information. And hey guys, I also want to make sure I'm available for sessions or readings,
Absolutely.
Even if you're just struggling with something and you just want to chat, I don't charge for just listening. I'm not that kind of counselor. I'm not a psychologist. 5 minutes you want to chat and tell me something, I'm more than happy to engage with y'all, because I think that's part of the connection that we have. We are all brothers and sisters here. We are all dedicated to helping each other get through, especially the crazy times right now. Right. I know I have some friends that they are losing their minds with things that are happening politically and even environmentally in the world. They're just like, all they do is worry. And I'm like, stop. Don't give that energy. What do you want the world to be like? Resonate those thoughts. Put that out there and do your part, guys. Homework again, right? What's the standing homework assignment, y'all? It is shine your light, share your gifts, and love people to the best of your ability. Be kind. Do those acts of kindness. Kindness, it doesn't cost you a thing to be kind to somebody, to smile, to share a kind word, to give somebody that parking space. Because you can see there's a handicap sticker on their car and there's not a handicap space there, but you're going to go for that other space that's close. Give them that space. All these little things that you can do to brighten up somebody's day. Be loving, be kind, and have gratitude for what you have, and watch how easy it is to manifest more and more of what you need in the world. And please come back next week and watch. Are you on tonight again, Grizz? You have a nighttime show tonight?
10 o'clock. It's a mafia story, a true crime.
Mafia? Like the mafia?
Yes, the mafia.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
y'all got to tune in for that. It is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. But from coast to coast, around the world, Godspeed, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Love y'all. See you next week.